Welcome back to episode 2 of Python programming. Yesterday we learned introduction to Python, and today we're going to start doing functions and getting help. So we're still going to be using Jupyter Notebook. Mine is on. We're going to just start a new Python 3 and we're going to start. Now you've already seen and used functions such as print and ABS, but Python has more functions, and defining your own functions is a big part of Python programming. Now in this lesson you'll learn more about using and defining functions. Now in getting help, let's just write that as a heading. Getting help. Now yesterday you saw the ABS function in the previous lesson, and what if you've forgotten what it does? Now the help function is possibly the most important function in Python, because if you can remember how to use help and you hold the key to understanding most of other functions. Like here's example. I will do, it's not in capital letters but help, and then inside here we do round. As you can see, help is a built-in function. Round in module built-ins. Round is a number or digits is equals to none. Round a number to a given precision decimal digit. Return the value as an integer, and if n digits is omitted or none otherwise, the return value has the same as the type number. N digits may be negative. Now help displays two things: the header of that function, round number. In this case, this tells us round, takes an argument we can describe as number. Additionally, we can optionally give a separate argument which could be described as n digits. A brief English description is what the function does. Now a common pitfall when you're looking up a function, remember to pass the name of the function itself and not the result of calling that function. Okay, let's say what happens if we invoke help on a call to the function ABS. Let's see. Now help round -2 point. See, help has evaluated on the integer object which has a base of 10. I hope that makes sense. Now we can try and do a help with the print function. Now help has given us the meaning of the print function as well. Now we're going to be defining the functions. Hold up, yeah. defining functions. Okay, built-in functions are great, but we only can get so far with them before we need to start defining our own functions. Below is a simple example. So we're going to write def difference a b c. Let me remove this here. And then I'm going to do diff 1 equal to abs. Just follow me slowly. We're going to return now. This creates a function called list difference, which takes 3 arguments a, b, and c. Functions with a header are introduced by the def keyword. The indented block of the code of the code following the colon is run when the function is called. Return is another keyword uniquely associated with functions. When Python encounters a return statement, it exits the function immediately and passes the value on the right hand side to the calling context. Hope we have understood what list difference does from the source code. Let's now try out just an example. You can try a few examples now, like print. or the list. It has given that answer. Or maybe we can call help for the list difference. It gives us, as it has shown here. Now Python isn't smart enough to read my code and turn it into a nice English description. However, when I write a function, I can provide a description in what is called the docstring. And as we go into our next heading, which happens to be docstrings, we're going to understand more. So here I'm going to do diff list now. Now the docstring is a triple quoted string which may span multiple lines that come immediately after the header of a function. When we call help on a function, it shows us the docstring. Like if you can remember here, when we called help on the list difference, it showed us the docstring here. Now you will see the docstring. If I call help again on list difference, you will see the docstring. Now you see the least difference here. Yeah. Good programmers use docstrings unless they expect to throw away the code soon after it is used, which is rare. So you should start writing docstrings too. And now we're going to go into a new topic. We're going to do functions that don't return. Hold up. Now, what would happen if we didn't include the return keyword in our function? Let's try and see. Now Python allows us to define such functions. The result of calling them is a special value, none. This is similar to the concept of null in other languages. Without a return statement, list difference is completely pointless, but a function with side effects might do something useful without returning anything. We've already seen two examples of this, print and help. Don't return anything. We only call them for their side effects. Putting some text on the screen. Other examples of useful side effects include writing to a file or modifying an input. Let's try something new, like pizza. Print. Now print pizza. Remember, as you're writing these commands, you make sure they are as should be. If there's a caps somewhere, put a caps. If there's a small letter everywhere, put the small letters. Now default arguments. This happens to be our next topic, and let's write that down. When we called for help print, we saw that the print function has several optional arguments. For example, we can specify a value for sep to put some special string between our printed arguments. Let's try that out. Print one, 2, 3. But if we don't specify a value, sep is treated like having a default value of a single space, like this. This is how sep is treated. Now, adding optional arguments with default values to the functions we define turns out to be pretty easy. Let's try something. So we are now going to get into functions applied to functions. Sounds confusing, I know. Wow. Function applied to here is something that's powerful, though it can feel very abstract at first. You can supply functions as arguments to other functions. Some example may make this clearer. Let's try something. So here's an example. Once you run this, you will understand. Now, functions that operate on other functions are called higher order functions. You probably won't write your own for a little while, but there are higher order functions built into Python that you might find useful to call. Here's an interesting example using the max function. By default, max returns the largest of its arguments, but if we pass in a function using the optional key argument, it returns the argument x that maximizes key x, or the argmax. Now I will show you. Remember to place the spaces. Nope. Now you can try out, because functions open up a whole new world in Python programming. Practice, we will meet in the next lesson, which is lesson 3. I was your host, Keith, and if you're new to this lesson, you can start from lesson 1. You will find a description somewhere up on your on your left, and like and subscribe if you liked the video. If you did not like the video, you can do the thumbs down, but if you did, like and subscribe. Change this. Thank you. This class was awesome.